Welcome back, guys. We are going to be starting this tutorial by first drafting the pattern. So you can see I have my pattern paper on the table, as well have my bra cups. So these are the cups we are going to be using for this tutorial. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now to start the drafting. And to do that, you can see I have my pattern paper folded into two, as you can see. So this is how you're going to fold your pattern paper into two. So right now, guys, I'm going to be rolling a line here, which is going to serve as my starting line. Okay, so after you're done rolling that line, right now I'm going to go ahead to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So you're going to measure your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Mine is 7.5. okay, so now you're going to come down by 0.75 inch for the shoulder slope, and here you will measure 3 inch. So you're just going to connect the slope just like that. Okay, so guys, after you are done doing this, now the next step is I'm going to go ahead to take the horizontal measurement. So I'm going to measure to the bust point, which is 9 inches. Then I'll take it to on the bust 12.5. Then I'll take the full length of this top. I'm going to be making use of 17 inches for the full length. So I'm just going to go ahead now to roll the lines. So guys, after doing this, now I'm going to come to this shoulder line. I will come down by 7 inches. Okay, so you're going to mark it, then you go ahead and connect it. So guys, after doing that, I'm going to go ahead to label. This is the chest line, the bust point, the under bust, and we have the waistline. Okay, so guys, now that we are done labeling, the next step is I'm going to measure this line that I have here. I'll be getting the midpoint of it, which is 3.5. Then I'll mark it and I'll go in by 0.75 inch. So I'm going to connect the armhole. So first of all, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4. Okay, so you're going to mark it, and now you're going to use your curve ruler to create armhole. So you're just going to make use of those dots to create the armhole. Okay, just the way you see me doing it. So this is what you're going to have. So guys, after doing that, now the next step is to mark out the dart. I'll come to the waistline. I'm going to be measuring my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 plus half inch. So you take it there and you take it on the bust line as well. Okay, so now you're going to connect it. After you're done doing that, you'll come to the waistline again. You're going to mark half inch on both sides. Okay, then you're going to connect it to meet the under bust just like this. So guys, that's for the dart. Now I'm going to go ahead to take the body measurement. So this is our initial bust measurement divided by 4. I'll be adding only extra 1 inch for the joining allowance. Then I'll come to the under bust. I'll take my under bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add 1 inch for joining allowance as well. Then the same thing at the waistline. I'll take the waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'll measure this dart. It is about 1 inch. Okay, you're going to add it, then you add extra 1 inch for the joining allowance. Then you're going to go ahead to connect the dots. So guys, this is what you're going to have. You're just going to blend this. Okay, so this is what you're going to have after doing that. So right now, guys, I'm going to bring my cup. It's time for us to draw out the cup. So I'm going to be bringing my cup right now. To do that, first of all, I'm going to come to the bust points. I'll measure in like half inch. Then you measure half inch on the under bust line as well. You're going to connect it. Okay, now I'm going to be placing my cup on the pattern paper like this, making sure that the cup is meeting exactly where that line we just ruled is, and as well the cup is sitting directly on the bust line. Okay, so you're just going to arrange it very well like this. Then you go ahead to use your marker to trace it out. Okay, you have to be very careful when doing this because you do not want to shake the bra cup and end up not having the right shape. So you're just going to be very careful while you are doing this. Okay, so when you get to the end, exactly where the cup ends, you're going to mark it out like this, and to the other side as well. Then you're going to remove your cup and just blend the line very well. Okay, so guys, this is what you're going to have after you're done doing that. Right now I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. So guys, this is what you're going to have after cutting. You can see how it's looking, right? So right now I'm going to be bringing another pattern paper. Okay, I'll be using this front piece to trace out the back. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing next. And to do that, first of all, I'm going to be ruling a line on this other pattern paper, which is going to be for like the zipper allowance. So that space is for the zipper. Then I'm going to place my front piece on it, making sure that it is directly on that line I just ruled. Then I'm going to trace it out just the way you see me doing it. Okay, so I forgot to cut out this excess, so guys, you're just going to cut it out. Then now you're going to go ahead to continue tracing. So just align it well and trace out like that. So guys, after tracing, you're going to remove the front piece. Right now you're just going to connect the two dots with your ruler, then you are going to cut it out. After cutting, you just write zipper here, so you know that's the zipper allowance. So right now I'm going to create the dart for the back. So I'll take my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch again. Now take it on this other end as well. Then you're going to rule a straight line. You do the same thing, take ½ inch on both sides, so you connect it just the same way we did the dart for the front. So this is what you're going to have. So basically that's all for the drafting of this corset. So these are the two pieces that we need. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up this front piece for you to see how it is looking. You can see how it's looking nice. So right now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead to use this to cut on my fabric. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now. This is what I had after I was done cutting them out. You can see I added sewing allowance to this line here, to the upper line, and I added extra 1 inch to the length. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my pattern paper now. You can see I also cut out the lining piece as well. Okay, so this is it. Now guys, the next step is I'm going to be ironing hairstay and paper gum to these pieces. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Hairstay for the actual fabric and paper gum for the lining pieces. This is what I had after I was done ironing. Okay, so you can see guys, I've ironed hairstay and paper gum to all the pieces. So I'm just going to place the back pieces aside. I will also place the lining piece of the front pieces aside. So right now I'm going to take this actual fabric, then I will mark out the dart. I'm just going to remeasure the dart just the same way we did it when we were drafting it on pattern paper. You take your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, roll the line, then you take ½ inch on both sides of the waistline and you will connect it. Okay, so guys, now that I'm done marking out the dart, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. You're just going to fold it like this, then you sew it. I'll do the same thing to the other side. This is what I had after I was done sewing that on the both sides and ironing. So guys, now I'll bring my cups. I'm going to be working on my cups. First of all, I'm going to be making a dart on my cup. Yes, I'm going to be sewing a dart on this cup. So you're just going to take it to the sewing machine, fold it together and sew it dart just like that. So guys, this is what I had after I was done sewing that dart. You can see the dart will actually give it more room to actually fit your breast very well, especially if you are the type that is a little bit busty. So you want to have a cup that looks like a push-up kind of, so that's why I did this. So now that you're done doing this, guys, I'm just going to place the two cups aside. I'll bring my fabric. So I'm going to be cutting out fabric that I will use to cover up the cup. Okay, so you're just going to cut a piece of your fabric like this, then you're going to fold it into 2. then you fold it together again. So you're going to fold your fabric into 4 like this. Then you're just going to trace out like a circle. You see, you're just going to trace it out like that to give you a shape that looks like a circle. You make a dot at the middle. So right now you're going to open it up like this. Then you will mark 1 inch here. You mark 1 inch on this other side. Then you're going to connect it to meet that notch that you made at that middle point. Okay, so guys, this is what you're going to have. Right now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew it. This is what I had after I was done sewing 2 fabric for the 2 curves. So you're just going to cut off the excess and you iron it out.
Help me.
So guys, after ironing, you can see how it is looking. The circle has space for the cup, you can see. So right now you are going to put your cup inside like this. Then you're going to pin it down, align it where, then you're just going to pin it down. Then after you are done pinning it down there, then you pin it down at the other end as well. Then you're just going to pin it all around. Okay, you're just going to align it where, pin it all around. So guys, this is what you're going to have after pinning. You can see how nice it's looking. Now I'll take it to the sewing machine and run a stitch on it. Then I'll do the same thing to the other cup. This was what I had after I was done placing the fabric on the 2 cups. So I'm just going to trim out this excess fabric. You can see what we have now, guys. So I'm going to place these 2 cups aside now. Then I'll bring my fabric. I'm going to be using the fabric itself as the boning case for my bony. So you can see I folded my fabric in the form of a cutting bias. I use my iron to do that. So right now, guys, I'm going to place my fabric on this dart line and I will sew it on the 2 sides. Then I'll do the same thing to the middle parts and as well to the other side. So that's what I'm going to go to do right now. This is what I had after I was done sewing the boning case. You can see from the back. So this is it. So right now, guys, the next step is I'm going to be adding my cup to this fabric, and before I do that, I'm going to cover up my cup. So I already sewed lining piece just the same way I sewed actual fabric that I use in covering the cup. So I'm going to be using the lining piece now to line the cup before I fix it to the fabric. So you're going to place them right sides facing each other like that, then you will sew it. This is what I had after I was done sewing. I will cut out this excess. Okay, so after you're done doing that, you're going to open it up like this. Then you're going to top stitch to the lining side. Then you do the same thing to this other one. This is what I had after I was done top stitching. You can see, guys. So this is it. So I realized when I put the lining inside, the lining was showing and I didn't want that to happen. So guys, to avoid that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be running a stitch on it. To do that, I'm just going to use my pin to pin the lining to the cup, making sure that the lining piece is not showing. Do you guys see what I'm doing? So this is how you're just going to keep pushing the lining piece inside while you pin. So you can see how beautiful our cup is looking right now. I'll take it to the sewing machine and I will run that stitch on it. Then I will do the same thing to the other cup. This was what I had after I was done running the stitch, guys. You can see. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my ball and my hemming gum. I'm going to be gumming the lining piece to the cup itself. So you're just going to place hemming gum inside your cup like this. Then you're going to cover your cup with your piece. Then you just use your iron to press it. Then that's going to gum your lining piece to the cup. Okay, so you're just going to place more hemming gum and gum using your hot iron. So guys, this is what I had after I was done gumming the two. Right now I'll take it to the sewing machine and just run a stitch on them. So guys, this is what I had after I was done running the stitch. I also went ahead to cut out the excess fabric. So right now I'll bring my fabric and I'm going to bring my lining piece. I already make that on the lining piece, just the way we did for the actual fabric. So I'm placing them right sides facing each other. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, then I will stitch this part, and also sew this part. This is what I had after I was done sewing the three parts. Now you're going to open it up and iron it out. So this is what you're going to have after ironing. Right now I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm just going to stitch it. This is what I had after I was done stitching. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. So guys, right now I'm going to be attaching the cup and I'm going to place the cups on them like this. So I'm just going to bring my pin and I'm going to be pinning the cup to the fabric. So you're just going to pin it like this, then you just keep doing it till you get to the end. So guys, this is what I had after I was done pinning. You can see how our cup is looking so nice even without sewing yet. So I'm going to take this now to the sewing machine and sew it round, then I'll do the same thing to the other cup. This is what I had after I was done sewing the two cups. You can see I also went ahead to weave the seam to give it a nice look. So this is what you're going to have, guys. So right now I'm going to be putting my boning through my boning case. Guys, this is what I had after I was done putting boning inside and ironing it out. So right now I will flip this inside. I'll put the cups inside like that, put the lining and the actual fabric together, and I'll take the sewing machine and sew it. This is what I had after I was done sewing, guys. So right now I'm going to bring out the cup from inside just like this. Okay, so guys, this is what you're going to have. I'll go ahead to iron this out. This is what I had after ironing, guys. Now I'm going to place this front piece aside, then I'll work on the back pieces.